Hey, Shalom Markings for Karmak Pasham Jim Islam, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Chakwadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful elect, pushing the truth in all sincerity. Back again, one other video. I'm going to entitle this one, Esau doesn't have the power to take on the Most High. Okay, which should be obvious, right? It should be obvious, right? But to Esau, right, he's in with a shot, because he really believes in his own strength that ultimately the Most High have given him. Right? They believe in their power, their wealth, their control, right? Their technology, right? And these people, out here believe in it, right? They believe like Esau's the mightiest, right? And everything that he's doing is, kind of, well, it is going against the Most High, right? All these endeavors is aiming to prove the non-existence of the Most High and to assert his power and his authority over all living things, right? Which again it's pride and it's hubris to think that he has become such as one to be in that position, to be like the Most High, right? But this is how he thinks of himself, all right? But I say he believes in his own might, in his own power, but they're nothing compared to the angels and to Yahweh Shai, okay, to the Most High's power. Okay, they're nothing. And this is what ultimately the Most High is gonna show Esau, beginning with these elites and all these nations, right? The Most High is gonna show his power again, just like he did in Egypt, right? And really embarrass and belittle the strength of Esau, right? To put things into a real perspective, right? Of where mankind's ability and power is, right? So that's what the Most High is gonna do, right? So I just wanted to get in on this topic, all right? So I'm gonna start here in Isaiah 31 verse 1. It says, "Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many," right? So they look at Esau, they look at his military, his influence in the world, right? And they marvel at it. They trust in it. All right, that's like a constant in this world, right? Everyone knows how strong Esau is. Like no one fucks with Esau because he got the nukes, he got everything. All right, so that's why he running the courts, he's running the global courts. Like he's he's the UN, he's everything, right? He's the go-to guy because he has the power. All right, so everybody looks to him, right, in these matters, right, in these things for protection and whatever, right? Says that because they are many and horsemen, because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord, right? So again, they respect Esau's power, right? But the Most High's power, okay, they disregard because they don't believe in him, right? Esau's made it where these people don't really believe in the Most High, right? So even though he's been pushing himself as this Christian evangelist, like he's the most holiest, right? He's the devout Christian, and like he doesn't do anything to support that theory, right? Everything he's done is gone against that, because he's not really about the scriptures at all. It's just a tool he has used in past times to manipulate people. That's it. All right, and people are still under that spell. All right, but realistically, what people believe in is Esau and his power. All right, because when the times get tough, they're all going to be looking on the government and Esau to be doing this and doing that for them, right? And the Most High, people might say, "Oh, God help me," and all these different types of things, but really they're just looking for Esau in reality, So when the mark of the beast comes, yeah, they're gonna take that. All right. This is verse 2. "Yet he also is wise and will bring evil, right, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity," right? Now the Egyptians are men, right? Esau, this kingdom, these people, they're just men, right? Ain't nothing really special about Esau, especially not Esau, to be fair, right? There's nothing special about man, all right? The Egyptians are men and not God, right? Esau is not the ultimate, right? And their horse is flesh and not spirit, right? The spirit trumps the flesh, right? So Esau's got all the carnal. Yeah, he got the fighter jets, he got the missiles, he got the submarines. He got all kinds of ammunitions and laser beams and all kinds of stuff, right? And yeah, they're impressive on a carnal level, right? But they don't compare to the spirit, things in the spirit. They don't compare to the angels. The angels are rolling with immense power, right? That is beyond comprehension, ultimately, right? These are the same beings that help create the universe. And I was watching a little science thing on YouTube, right? They're talking about, could we nuke the sun? Or someone was talking about, can we nuke the sun? All right. And the guy was going into, I think it was Tyson DeGrasse. He was saying, even if we got all the nukes that exist in this world right now and threw them at the sun, it wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't do a damn thing. It wouldn't do a damn thing to any planet, let alone the sun. Esau just not on that level. He hasn't got the capability, right? But an angel, yeah, an angel could do that quite easily. you know, Planetary destruction level of power. You know what I mean? They could do that, yeah. I mean, they put all this together. You know what I mean? So yeah, Esau's just not on that level, and yet he thinks, he's the ruler of the universe. He-Man, the master of the universe, right? He thinks he's He-Man or the master of the universe. Whatever. I can't remember how that story goes, but they've got a new movie coming out. I might check it out. But yeah, Esau just thinks he's the master of the universe, man, and he really isn't. He's just not on that level, right? So yeah, their horses are flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, right, bring judgment, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down. So those that look for help and those that supposedly helping, they're all going to go down. Like hand joining hand, the both shall fall into a ditch. Like, the both shall both go, shall not both go unpunished, right? They're all going to get taken out because there's nothing you could do to stop the Most High. All right. That's what I want from that. Right, so yeah, Esau thinks he's on this level and he's really not. So when it comes down to it, when Yahushua comes with the angels, there's nothing that he's gonna do. Right, and these people are out here being made to believe that aliens exist and aliens are coming to invade and wage war and stuff like that. These people are gonna think that the governments are out here trying to protect us, or gonna be able to protect us from these quote unquote so-called aliens. They're not gonna do a damn thing. Right, they're not gonna do a damn thing but be embarrassed. All right, do nothing but be embarrassed. Okay, and this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 4. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him. All right, so that's how they view Esau. It's like, oh yeah, he's so mighty, who can actually war with him? Who can actually, take him out of power? Or who compares to his power? So they look at Esau as the pinnacle. And then, and that's what he wants, right? He wants to be looked at as this God figure, all right? Who can wage war with him, right? And that's true on a carnal level. It's true. Who can wage war with him, right? Like I say, he's spending the most amount of money on weapons and destruction. It's like, yeah, no one can compare to him. He got NATO. He's got the NATO alliance, right? He's way ahead. All right, but like I said, all this that Esau's built for himself, all this power, okay, is nothing in comparison to the angels, and to the Most High's power, right? It's Obadiah chapter 1 verse 3 said, the pride of thy heart have deceived thee, right? So yeah, you're fooling yourself because on the planet Earth, right, amongst the human race, yeah, you're undisputed right now, right? Nobody's really coming close. Everyone's kind of moving Buki around you because, like, at a word you can just mess everything up for everybody, like we've seen. Right? These men are doing the most and just messing up the whole planet. you know. But yeah, you know, because of this power or this influence that you have, right, you've become proud. Okay. The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Right? Who, yeah. So the people are looking at him like, yeah, who can make war with him? And he's thinking to himself, yeah, who can take me down? And that's how these, these Edomites think or believe, right? You see how the Americans act, and they just think they're just like the toughest, bro. That nobody can do a damn thing to them, and not understand that time and chance come, happening to everyone, right? All these empires before that were great, had great militaries, right? And the same thing was thought of them, like who can take them out? Who could beat us? Who could defeat us? My style is impetuous. You know what I mean? Like they just thought like, yeah, it couldn't happen. But lo and behold, the armies of all these great empires fell. Okay, and America's going to be no different. Esau and the rest of his kingdom is going to be no different. And the fact that these men are even fighting from the inside, the house is divided. Like it shows that this place is about to fall down. Right, so it happens. Time and chance, and your time is over. Right, you're actually weakening. You're not growing in strength. So yeah, the pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? So though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, which is a high flying bird, right? And though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down. So you're still gonna go down, no matter what heights you reach. What they call that, man? Frontiers that you find. You know what I mean? Like you get to. It doesn't matter how great your power becomes. The Lord's still gonna bring you down, because you'll never bridge that gap. You'll never be as high as that. It's just not possible. All right, because it has to be given. Okay, you can't just simply take the power of God or develop power of God. You can't do that, right? And the Most High going to show you, right? It's Daniel chapter 7, verse 19. So then I would quickly see the. Yeah, let's get the point, right? Verse 19 said, then I would know the truth of the false beast, right? Which is Rome, right? But we have this second part of Rome that we're currently living in. Okay, this rebirth, this renaissance, as they call it. Okay, which is part of this iron. Okay, but is at the part of the feet in terms of this prophecy. So then, when I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass. Right, they were mighty, they were strong. Okay, Rome was known for its strong and mighty military, man. Difficult to defeat. They weren't, until latter times able to be defeated. Right, they were known for their military. All right, so which devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with his feet. All right, so then, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. Right, this horn here that he's talking about is with the eyes. It's talking about America, right? Okay, this is what's come out of Rome in the second part of Rome, right? Which came out of the British. Okay, which was one of those other horns that fell. Okay. So I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. And the ancients of days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom, right? So eventually this kingdom has to fall. For the saints to take the kingdom, right, that means this kingdom has to be destroyed, right? And it says, and thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, right? Which is Esau in the form of Rome. Okay, which fell and later returned. Okay, and what we're living in is this second part of Rome. Okay, which is partly mixed with miry clay. Okay, the 10 toes. It says the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all other kingdoms, right? Because we run a democracy and voting and all this type of crap, right? It's not a kingdom like previous empires, right? And shall devour the whole earth and shall tread it down and break in pieces, right? Esau's damn near everywhere, all over the globe, all right? And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and dividing of time. And the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, and consume and destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey. Right. So I say you have a set amount of time to rule upon the earth, right, until the kingdom is taken away from you and given to the saints. Okay, i.e. the elect of Israel. Okay, beginning with the elect. All right. So this is the moment or the time we're living in right now. The downfall of your kingdom and the establishing of the kingdom of heaven. All right, but obviously Esau's going to fight tooth and nail, believing in his might and his strength that he's acquired, thinking that it's enough. Right, but the truth is that it's not even close to being enough. It's not even close. And this is Ezekiel 28 verse 2. Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, right, which represents Esau in this modern time. So thus say the Lord God Yahweh, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thy heart as the heart of God. All right, so Esau got these ideas of grandeur, that he's become more than just a mere human being, right? Because he's acquired all this power and he has all this influence. Right, and he has his sights set on the ultimate throne. All right, it says, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they could hide from thee. And with thy wisdom and with thy understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore thus saith the Lord God Yahweh, because thou hast said in thine heart, set thy heart as the heart of God. Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, and the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and shall defile thy brightness. Right, so the Most High is going to stir up the heathen against you, man, which is what you're seeing. Right, all these conflicts, right, against Esau's agendas. Right, and this is why we're going to be, the world's going to go, be brought into a World War III, because the Most High is stirring up the nations to fight against Babylon. It says, they shall bring you down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. But will thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am a God? But thou shalt be a man and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee. Right? So the Most High is going to make it painfully obvious, okay, that you was never on any level. Okay, you're just a man, you're just a dude, but with wicked intent, wicked inventions. All right, and you're going to be ended the same way as every other nation and every other, fool that came before. Just as Pharaoh, right? All these people that thought that more of themselves than what they actually were. The Most High gonna humble you. All right. So thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers, for I have spoken it, saith the Lord God Yahweh. All right. So there ain't nothing that is more powerful than the Most High's word, man. The Most High say a thing, and that's what it is. Right? There's no amount of trying that's gonna overcome the will and word of the Heavenly Father. There's nothing. Right? So yeah, you might be you're mighty even amongst people, but even these people are gonna get at you. These people are gonna get at you, because that's the thing. Like comparing you to God is obvious. Like you're just not on the level, right? But even men that you're above at this moment in time, they're gonna help bring you down, man. You know, these nations are gonna help bring you down. Who you thought you was better than, like, you know, you pushing out there in the world that you're higher IQ, everyone's lower IQ and dirty and poor and smelly. You know, you're just disrespecting all these nations because you're acting like you got the moral high ground. You're just better than everybody. But these same people, okay, are gonna have knives to your throats and guns to heads and all kinds of things and put you in precarious situations and humiliating situations, right? You ain't gonna be looking or feeling better than them then. All that shit's gonna go out the window, man, because you're gonna be fucking humbled in that day, right? So really, like, this idea that that you think in your mind that you could be comparable to God is really ridiculous. You're just a man like everybody else. Okay, yeah, you're in a seat of power right now, but the Most High is the one that sets up the thrones, right? And it's all borrowed, man. It's all on a temporary basis that you have it. So yeah, the Most High can put you in these situations where, like, look, man, the Most High is going to show you what you really, or what level you're on, and it's no level, right? It's no level. All right. This is Daniel chapter 8 verse 25. It says and this happened to Antiochus, right? And it's the same kind of thing that's going to happen in this time, right? Verse 25 it says this, and through his policy he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, right? Everything Esau does, he builds all this technology, right? All this craft, right, to help him, to strengthen him, right? This is why he's building all the AI grid, the digital grid, right? So he can, gain further control over the people by locking them into a digital system, okay, via the market, MOTB. All right. So yeah, he's doing all these things to further his strength or consolidate his strength, right? So through his policy, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, right? Because he thinking like, yeah, I'm building this big ass cage for everybody, and everybody just falling into place. Okay, we're lying to them, we're deceiving them. Okay, we're making them, we're stealing from them. Esau's doing the most right now, right? Just grinding people into the dirt, right? So he's getting off on it, boasting more and more, right? So he should magnify himself in his heart and by peace, right? Because this is how he's going about selling it. Like it's here to help people and make life better, right? So and by peace shall destroy many, right? This is going to be the people's destruction, basically. He shall also stand up against the princes of princes, right? But he shall be broken without hand, right? And Esau's going to do this again. He's going to stand up against Yahweh Shai and the angels, and to fight, right? And like we keep telling you, this is gonna end terribly, right? I say Esau's got you believing believing in the aliens and stuff, right? But and that if it's aliens, yeah, you might have had a winning chance. It's just technology, right? Because you got it in the movies, Independence Day. Oh yeah, we just upload a virus and the ships die. The ships go down and we can shoot them with conventional weapons, or you make it look like it's lucky that you have a fair shot at it. If you just get your minds together, you work together, bring humankind together, you can work at anything and beat anybody. The angels are not aliens. The angels are not running carnal technology like aliens are, like you got in the movies, right? You're not gonna be able to upload a virus, and down their shields and all that kind of stuff. You haven't got the the capabilities to deal with the angels, right? You're just not on. They're on a whole different plane. You see, and not one of your weapons is capable of doing anything. And this is why they bug out when they see the chariots. What they call, what they're calling UAPs and UFOs and that kind of stuff. The things that they do defy reason and logic, defy every mathematical equation that mankind have conjured up, through these centuries. It don't make no damn sense, right? It's not quantifiable, like what they're capable of doing, right? Because When they see chariots do like right angle turns from like going bare fast, like crazy speed, and just do a right angle turn, you know what is involved in actually being able to do that? The thing would have to have no mass, right? But obviously it has size. There's a size to it, right? But you'd have to have no mass to just do that. Because I was watching the other day. I was watching a insect, right? Some of these flies and whatever, right? They move really erratically, man. It's just like, yeah, they can be flying one direction 1 minute, and the next they're just changing direction. Like there's no curve to it. There's no curve that, you've got planes. They have to curve. It might take them bare meters or miles to turn around a fighter jet because it's going so fast. But these things are going faster than that, and yet they're still able to turn 90-degree angles. It's like they have no fucking mass, right? Because they are manipulate. Angels manipulate space, time, physics, everything, because they're creators of these things. Esau's not doing any of that. Can't do any of that. And they and certain guys, they'll admit it themselves. How far the technology is behind what they perceive, from what they see, right? Because they're not capable of doing such things, right? But like I said, they're not aliens, right? They're angels, and so you have no answers for this. You have no answers for angels and the immense power that they have. So how close are you to godhood, bro? It's like you never started. It's like you made no progression, even though you made some type of progression, but on a scale, it's like nothing moved. That's what you're gonna face when your Howard Shai turns up, and your greatest, your strongest weapon is a fucking nuke. Like, what's that? What's that to an angel that controls matter? It's just a complete fucking mismatch. You know what I mean? Anyway. Yeah, so you could be broken up, man. You could be broken up right hand. You could be broken up. Right? You could get broken up. The Lord said he didn't handle no sword, nothing like that. Right? You could be broken up right hand, man. You're just gonna get hurt. Right? And here's the account, right? 2 Ezra chapter 13. Verse 3, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, okay, it's Yahushua and the angels. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth, sluggy when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea, right? So, like I said, they're really actually going to go and fight the Lord and the angels. That order, that command is going to go out. You see these men up in the sky, right? Yeah, you're going to go. That's the target. You're going to go out there, and they're going to say, go destroy them. But obviously, that's not what's going to happen. But yeah, you're going to be given the order to actually attack the Lord and the angels. It's madness, absolute madness, right? But like I said, you're going to be convinced, or being told that it's aliens, it's not real, or whatever. You know what I mean? You're just a soldier. You're just a drone essentially. You giving orders and you carry them out. You're not paid to think, right? So you're gonna get ordered to go out there and sacrifice yourself, basically, right? So it says verse 6, it says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graded himself a great mountain and flew upon it, right? The Yahushua is riding in a massive chariot, like mentioned Independence Day. Yeah, huge, right? But I would have seen the region or place whereat the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, he broke him without hand. He neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Just mad power, energy, violence, And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Yeah, you man, just got vaporized, right? All that, American military might training, best of the best of the best, and all these weapons, and it didn't count for shit. It didn't count for anything. All right, just obliteration, you know. And the whole world's gonna see this, right? And they're gonna know. It's like, oh shit, yeah, this is real. Okay, this right here, what these men just did, that's real, right? They just took man out with no effort, right? And so the only thing left is to submit, to submit to that type of power. Because what are you gonna do about it? Not a damn thing. All right, and like I say, it's Yahweh Shai the angel, man. Come to establish his kingdom. So, yeah, you got to get down with the program. All right, this is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 7, right? Because this is speaking about the same thing, same account, right? I said there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, right? This is what he's speaking about, that encounter with Yahweh Shai and, the militaries of the world, Esau's, dominion, his kingdom, right? And the mighty men he's going to send out to fight Yahweh Shai and the angels, right? Michael was among them, right? Verse 8 says, and prevail not. Esau's not going to prevail. How could he? What chance did he have? He had zero chance, right? And prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven, right? They weren't ruling anymore, right? Their power was cast down, right? Well, as it reads, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him, right? Esau's going to be cast out of rulership, right? And brought down to the earth. All right. So that's the defeat of our enemy. All right. And like I said, this is all to show one thing to the world, right? Which is the Most High's power. Okay. Again, exactly the same thing he did to Pharaoh. Okay. Which I'm going to end with that here, right? In Romans 9. All right. So for the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for the same purpose have I raised thee up. The reason why Esau has dominion over the earth right now and been given this power among men, right, is to ultimately show the Most High's power in comparison, right? Because people look up to Esau, as we opened up with. They look up to Esau and his power. They fear his power, right? And people are willing to bow to him and skirt, play careful with him and that, because they see him as dangerous and to be feared, right? Well, then how much so the Most High? If that's what he's done to the guy you thought was the guy that you feared, right? That you treaded on eggshells around, then what about the Most High? When the Most High shows his power against the great American military and mankind's greatest weapons and greatest minds and all that shit, like what there's no choice but to fear the Most High, bro. It's like, damn, like he just did that to them, like with no effort, just wiped them out. These guys are obviously on a different level, a whole different level, So yeah, you best start fearing. The Most High is going to get his respect out here, right? So again, so even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, right? That my name might be declared throughout all the earth, right? Therefore he have mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will he hardeneth, right? So Esau's been made proud and be resistant to the Most High on purpose, so the Most High can show everybody his power in contrast to theirs. But like I say, if you're fearing this guy because he's got nukes and all this type of shit, then how much so when Yahweh Shai comes with the angel and just obliterates him, destroys America, this could happen to you. So yeah, you better, people are gonna start falling in line real quick, man, and they start accepting the terms of the reality that exists. These men are going into slavery, right, to serve punishment. It's a punishment, right? So you're gonna go into slavery for 1,000 years. That's your sentence, right? And Esau's been taken out completely after that point. He on death row. So he on 1,000 years on death row, right? He ain't coming out. He ain't coming out. He ain't ever coming out, right? You know, these heathens, these other nations, man, they're gonna come out after 1,000 years, and you know, the lands are gonna be given back to them. But the Most High is gonna show his, you know, demonstrate his power, man. All right, and his name's gonna go out throughout the earth, man. All right. So that's pretty much it. Lord, this has been edifying, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. Until next time, I say shalom.